Quick introduction. I'm Srinath Reddy, founder, CEO here at Intentwise. We just got back from Unboxed. There's a lot that has been announced around Amazon Marketing Cloud. I think the focus of today's conversation is very specifically around all the AMC updates centered around sponsored ads. Just quick logistics. I have a slide deck. We'll send out the recording as well once we are done. One note here is I'm going to focus primarily on sponsored ads, impacts from on AMC announcements. There's a lot that has been said about AMC. So we're going to do a series of webinars, deep diving into various different topics. Just keep an eye out on that. With that, I think let me share my screen and we will just jump right in. Agenda for today is deep dive around the specific announcements. I also want to walk through the basics of AMC because I find that a lot of folks haven't had a chance to fully understand what AMC is. We'll cover use cases. We'll also touch on what Intentwise is doing to help you unlock opportunities. We'll save some time for Q&A at the end as well. In the meantime, I'm going to run a quick poll here just to understand how many of you have used AMC. Please take a moment to answer this question. This is just for me to understand, what level of depth I need to get into in terms of AMC overview. So please take a moment to, respond to this. So it looks like majority of you haven't actually used AMC before. So thank you for that input. I'll take a little bit longer in just explaining what AMC is as well as part of today's conversation. Yeah, so let's dive in today in terms of announcements around sponsored products at Unboxed. Basically, for the first time, AMC is now available for sponsored ads advertisers also. What that means is in the past, you have to have been running DSP to get access to sponsored ads, but that is no longer the case. If you're just doing sponsored ads, you'll get access to AMC as well. What are the implications? One, I think you can request AMC instances. If you don't already have a pathway to do so, you can do so with us. Above, please share the link to requesting the AMC instance in the chat. If you don't already have an AMC instance, follow that link and request. Please post the link. There you go. Vaibhav has just posted the link in the chat, so you can use that. Once an instance is created, what you can start to do is you can create audiences in AMC and push them to your sponsored ads entity, right? In the past, you could do it only to DSP, but now you can push it to sponsored ads as well. And what do you do then? Like once your audiences are showing up in sponsored ads, you can target them with sponsored display and with sponsored brand and sponsored product, just like you do placement modifiers, you can do bid boosting on very specific audiences. You'll see in a lot of Amazon documentation, it'll be referred to as shopper cohort bidding. Okay. Shopper cohort is a phrase to remember. And then lastly, because you now have AMC, you can now ask questions, get answers for things that you couldn't do before. We call it insights. I'm going to walk you through some use cases as we go through the deck. Some additional details on sponsored brands. You are limited to one campaign, one audience per campaign as of right now. Bid boosting is also called shopper cohort bid boosting. One thing to remember is it stacks on top of placement modifier. So if you've got a 100% or whatever value in placement modifier, you've got another value for the shopper cohort. One stacks on top of the other. It's not mutually exclusive. Just keep that in mind. Sponsored brand boosting is available only through API currently. I know the Amazon team is working through making it available through the console as well. We got access to it this week, and we are going to be launching sponsored product boosting within the next couple of weeks through our platform. And then lastly, sponsored display and sponsored product audiences capability is available via console right now. So those are some details that you should keep in mind. And as these change, we'll keep you posted. But that's the announcement, right? So around sponsored products. So let's just dive into what AMC is, given what I saw in the poll. Like quite a few folks here have not used AMC. So I'll go through just very quickly basics of what AMC is. Let me frame this in the form of a problem. Let's say that you are buying a product. I'll keep using the example of vacuum cleaners. Let's say you're buying a vacuum cleaner, you're out searching on Amazon, you see a DSP ad, you click on a DSP ad. Maybe a few days later, you come back, you click on a sponsored product ad, maybe on a sponsored display ad. You add it to a wish list, you're waiting for a deal. Something happens, you add to a cart and then finally purchase. This process of purchasing oftentimes is pretty lengthy, circuitous. But what happens today is there is really no way to understand the impact of, let's say, the upper funnel marketing, let's say DSP, although I know that the focus here is sponsored ads, there is a fundamental issue that the top of funnel and bottom of the funnel are just not connected. The other thing that happens is that all attribution today in sponsored ads is to the last click. You have no idea if which campaign actually drove the first click because of which that remarketing campaign is doing well. You have no idea what the path was, right? All those kind of blind spots that exist in measurement without AMC is what AMC is designed to alleviate. You also don't know, hey, did they add these products to a wish list or a gift registry, or you have no visibility into any of those things. AMC changes all of that. Every one of these touch points is fed into AMC. And not only that, this person here that I'm depicting, each individual person gets a unique user ID. Right? For example, me, if I'm shopping on Amazon, I get a unique user ID. And you, the brand, if I'm the user doing different things, seeing a product detail page, clicking on an ad, seeing an impression of an ad, adding something to a baby registry, every one of those events is tracked in Amazon Marketing Cloud with a shopper ID associated with it. So it's an extremely granular data set. And a simple way to frame what Amazon Marketing Cloud is, it is basically all of the interactions of the shopper, and there's two kinds, which is advertising and shopping, with unique identification on the shoppers. That's what is available in Amazon Marketing Cloud. Now we'll touch on, okay, what can you do with that shortly? An Amazon way of talking about what Amazon Marketing Cloud is, it's a privacy safe, clean room where there's no PII information or anything like that. There's just a user ID associated with each shopper and all the actions that Amazon can see. But fundamentally, it changes the game on understanding shopper journey. And it also allows us to create very specific targeted audiences. Again, we'll cover some examples shortly. That's what Amazon Marketing Cloud is. Any questions so far? Looks like there is one. There's a kind of very high level question, which is, hey, do you believe AMC will become a critical tool for all brands in the coming years? There's no question about that. AMC will be, in my opinion, the center of all ad measurement going forward. So short answer, yes. By the way, if you are having issues finding the Q&A box, you could use the chat box as well to enter your question. All right, I'll keep going here. And if you logged into AMC, it kind of looks like this. You've got all kinds of tables on the left. Here you're supposed to write SQL to get stuff from it, but I know that's kind of make things hard, but that's why companies like Intentwise and also even Amazon is doing a number of things to make life easy. Here's visually what it looks like. I'm going to skip this part, move forward, but there's all kinds of use cases for which Amazon has pre-built queries that you can execute, but we have also simplified this quite a bit for you through our platform as well. And I'll touch on that later in the conversation. But the point is you can answer all kinds of new questions. You can create all kinds of new audiences. This is kind of the simple way to think about what AMC can do for you. By the way, there was a question earlier, will AMC become kind of critical for all brands? Like, no question about it. In fact, every time Amazon is adding a new inventory source, whether it's Thursday night football or things that they're doing with NBA and things like that, all of that data, the place to measure is AMC. It all flows into AMC. I know today we'll talk about sponsored ads, but I want you to remember that like any inventory expansion in any new ad type, all that data flows into AMC for measurement. So it is extremely critical to build a muscle around Amazon Marketing Cloud as an organization. What customer data does a seller get via AMC? Is this constrained in some way to their products and ads? Great question. I'll touch on what data sets are available shortly, but let me give you a quick answer, Alan. What's called the free data set is basically all of the exposures of that customer to your brand. Okay. Yeah. So it is a part of it is restricted to your brand, exposure to your brand, your ads, your PDPs. And then there's a paid data set that gives you additional information, but I do have a couple of slides to touch on that. So I'll just hold off. Shri, you're asking a question where people could be doing things offline and then doing things online, and Amazon may have no way of knowing what's happening offline. Amazon wouldn't have that data set. Like, it's going to track what it can track, which is all of the stuff you do on the Amazon properties. And if you tag stuff, your DTC site in a certain way, that can also get tracked. And if you have some third-party integration like Foursquare, Your offline activity will also be tracked, right? All right, I'll keep going here. I'll pick up more questions as we go along. So let's touch on data sets quickly. There's broadly three kinds of data sets. One is your ads data. And I want to reiterate that, like, you're talking about exposure of that shopper to your brand in whatever capacity, impressions from you, clicks from your ads, clicks on your ads, PDP views and things like that, right? By the way, I think my sense, I mean, I'm liking all the questions coming at me. My sense is that I probably won't be able to take all questions. I'll leave you with my email. Feel free to message me, and we'll also pick up some of the questions from here and respond back via email too, in case I don't get to them. But yeah, so ads data, and these are just examples here: impressions, clicks, conversions, search terms, bunch of stuff. And there is a paid data set in between where you have what's called Amazon Insights, and that is a combination of all your non-ads data, like the organic sales and all of that. Like, the Amazon Insights combined with ads data completes your full picture. The Amazon Insights piece also has like the broader market data, which is like it has a full list of all your lifestyle and in-market audiences. And you can start to do things like, hey, what is your real penetration in a particular in-market segment? Because you have the full segment available to you as part of the paid data set. The paid data set also has like things like Experian, vehicle purchase insights, Foursquare store visit insights. I think they have added a bunch of Amazon garage data. The point here is that you can see the theme. There, Amazon will continue to add more and more signals that'll try and help you to kind of close loop, right, on a customer's interaction pattern. And then the last piece, which is first party data uploads. There are some questions about D2C. We are already working with brands that are uploading their first party data into Amazon and asking questions like, okay, what is the overlap of my D2C customer segment with what people are doing on Amazon? They're also doing things like, hey, show me all customers who have not bought with me in the last six months, and I'm going to target them with certain specific message. So what you can do with Amazon Marketing Cloud is you can upload first party data, which is things like email, phone number, stuff like that. And then you can also add additional attributes on them, such as when did they last buy? Are they high value? What is the last ASIN bought? And upload that into AMC, and that becomes part of the AMC data set. Now you can start to do interesting things like, hey, let me construct an audience of all those people that just bought from me. Why? Because I want to exclude them from my campaign exposure. So those are the types of things you can do with first party uploads. A custom upload bit is like, think of it as like, let's say you're a large brand or you have a large catalog, and you want like a product categorization information also baked into AMC. You can use your custom upload section to do that. But today, the third section, which is advertiser uploaded data, it's primarily been used for first party data uploads. Let me cover this slide and I'll take more questions. So some examples of what are I remember the previous slide, like I think, what slide was that? This slide. So there's advertising events and shopping events. The advertising events, these are examples. Shopping events, these are all the examples. I mean, you can literally do things like, hey, people who bought such and such products or who have added such and such products to my gift list. That is the pool of audience, and maybe I want to boost bids on them, or I want to use sponsored display to target them. Those are all the types of things you can do. But I wanted to give you a sense for when we say events in Amazon Marketing Cloud, like this is what we are talking about. Let me take some questions. Is it important to learn SQL to use AMC? I think SQL knowledge is very helpful because a lot of the queries are written in SQL. But of course, companies like us are trying to deliver solutions in a way that you don't need to know SQL. SQL, whether it's for AMC, for all, or any other analysis purposes, is an amazing skill to have. I've called it a superpower. In fact, if you go to the Intentwise website and go to resources, there is a free SQL learning module that you want to check out. There's a question about, hey, how do I target people, going after a particular product category, although they may not have seen my product? Alan, the best option there is to look at your lifestyle and in-market segments within the paid data set to go beyond people who are exposed to your brand. That would be the way to accomplish some of that. There's a question about, hey, is AMC different for B2B versus B2C? No, it's not. It's the same data set. With AMC, you're able to kind of construct pools of audiences that are buying a certain way, right? So there isn't a flag called business just yet, although there have been a number of announcements around that at this unbox. So we'll see how this plays out. But the way to think about it is like you could look at the behavior pattern and form audience pools of what could look like a B2B versus a B2C audience. There's a question here, what is the difference between AMC versus AMS? I mean, they're fundamentally very different things. AMS is your hourly streaming data or sponsored ads data. That has nothing to do with AMC. AMC is a clean room with very, very granular data sets on shoppers and what they're doing on Amazon. Anyway, keep your questions coming. Appreciate them. But I'll keep moving forward here. So switching gears, let's talk about specific use cases for sponsored ads around AMC. And by the way, treat these as examples. We don't have the time in the day to cover every possible scenario. We're only limited by our thinking, to be honest, about what's possible. But let me walk you through some scenarios. So, categories of use cases. There are, again, two kinds. One is let's go answer questions that we couldn't answer before, and two is design audiences to leverage to be leveraged in sponsored ads, right? So let's walk through some examples. Number one, new to brand metrics. Because of AMC, you can now look at net new customers you have acquired through all of sponsored ads campaigns across all three campaign types. Perhaps make it an operating metric, and you can even calculate cost of acquisition of those new to brand customers, and you can define new to brand the way you want, right? That is something that was not possible before. You can do that now. Another use case, which in fact, we have a case study that we have done with a client where you could literally get ASIN level new to brand metrics. And I'll share a case study in a moment. But the way this can be leveraged is if you have a large portfolio, maybe there are certain ASINs that drive a lot more new to brand acquisition. So hence, you may want to set a different ACOS and ROAS targets on those and spend a lot more money. But AMC gives you a way to understand new to brand customers acquired by ASIN. Here's another interesting one, which is, oftentimes you're running auto campaigns trying to figure out harvesting search terms. But until now, it was very difficult to make the connection between a search term and a product, right? But AMC allows us to change that so you can get much more surgical around, okay, when people search something, exactly what are they buying? We couldn't do this before, but now you can. Especially useful if you are taking on an account and trying to restructure things. This will be a great way to understand the mapping of ASINs to the actual searches. Here's an interesting one that we have executed for a brand where, when people are searching brand terms, you have no idea whether that search was preceded by a non-brand term before or not. And often, you could be making decisions where, hey, I don't want to spend on brand terms. But I think it'll be helpful for you to understand what percent of your current brand spend is on people that have actually searched non-brand terms before and then got educated on your brand and came searching for your brand. It is now possible to do that. Audience creation, I have one example here, which is, I think, probably something that I recommend everyone to act on, which is a typical click-through rate in your sponsored product campaigns is maybe 2% at best, which means that 98% of people are not clicking on that ad, but they could be searching very, very high intent keywords. You can actually construct a pool of those audiences that have searched really high intent keyword but have not clicked on your ad, and then target them using sponsored display and or sponsored brand, sponsored product in terms of bid boosting. Now, there is no limit to the number of things you can do in terms of constructing audiences and then going after them surgically. This is a use case that falls right in between what you're doing today and you're running remarketing campaigns. But if I have searched but never clicked on your ad, I am not part of your remarketing pool, and yet I am really high intent, right? This is one of kind of many audiences use cases that we can construct. You can go after if there is a certain angle you have on people who have already bought from you a certain product and you're trying to sell a different product, you can construct a pool of audience and target them very specifically. So there's a number of ways you can construct these audiences. I'd say here's kind of the low-hanging fruit on the search ad side to go build that audience and target them both from sponsored display and sponsored products, sponsored brands. So I covered about 4 or 5 different use cases. Follow us, and we'll be sharing more and more over a period of time. We it was a kind of a proud moment for us where Amazon shared this particular case study multiple times through Unboxed, where we helped this brand, Peter Popper, really drive up new to brand sales. In their case, what had happened is like they have a pretty large portfolio, almost 2,500, 2,700 products. But then with AMC, what we're able to do is isolate for those 15 products that were driving outsized new to brand customer acquisition and really set very different targets on those and change budget allocation and put a lot more money behind those products. And overall, new to brand sales and new to brand orders dramatically went up. It was that, and also understanding what path, what sequence was leading to the most new to brand acquisitions. One of the things we learned from this process is like sponsored brand, leading with sponsored brand followed by sponsored product, for example, was a good way to drive up new to brand. So between those two insights, it kind of reshaped the way the advertising on this account was run, only possible because we could get to some metrics from AMC that we couldn't otherwise get. And Amazon is going to publish this shortly. We'll share this out with you all. How do you use AMC to identify and manage overexposed audience? I mean, it's honestly, it's you could define what overexposed is. You say, look, people who are exposed to my ads more than 10 times is overexposed. Right now, what you cannot do yet is exclude audiences, right? On the sponsored ad side, you can do that on the DSP side. My hope is in the future you're able to isolate a pool of audience that you can that is overexposed and then exclude them. Right? There's also a question here about how do you leverage AMC for frequency optimization? Again, you can't do that on sponsored ad side. You can certainly do that on the DSP side. Today, without AMC, there is no basis to set frequency caps on DSP, but with AMC, you can do that. You can actually do a histogram of exposures and what is happening to performance and identify points at which you may want to cut off exposures. We have seen many times that like as exposures go up, cost of acquisition goes up too. So there's a ideal sweet spot. I also know that Amazon themselves is going to be launching like recommendations around frequency capping. It's a topic for another webinar we will cover because they introduced a number of new capabilities. But frequency optimization is relevant on the DSP side, but not so much on the sponsored ads side just yet. Let me keep going here. Again, if you don't address any questions, we'll get back to you via email. Okay, so what is Intentwise doing in this context? We have been one of the early companies to have co-developed a solution with Amazon around Amazon Marketing Cloud. We also are the company with pretty large number of people that are AMC certified. And so it's a big, big area of investment for us, and it has been for quite some time. I'll give you a quick glimpse of the things we have done so far. Number one, so far, if you're a user of our AMC solution, which is Intentwise Explore, you probably are familiar with this screen. If not, the big thing that we have done last week is we have built in the ability to create an audience in our AMC solution and push it to your sponsored ads entity. So far, it was only to DSP entities. This is now in place. Here's an example of all the shoppers who have been exposed to your ads or purchased from you during the July Prime Day. This is just more an example. And if you have a very specific strategy you're going after, you could construct this audience, target your sponsored ad entity, and the audience will be available there for you to take whatever action you want through the 3 campaign types. So this went live for us a few days back. Excited about that. And what this is like, this serves as a starting point, right? So you can construct an audience and push it to sponsored ads entity. That's step one. And then on sponsored ads, you can start to do stuff. The other thing we have done is we have fully integrated a number of insights or use cases into our search ads optimization product. I'll touch on what our solutions are on the last slide, but within our sponsored ads optimization platform, there's a number of use cases. For example, you can quickly see new customers you're acquiring by month, cost of acquisition of customers, and additional details. Show you kind of 2 to 3 examples, but these are all tightly integrated into our search ads platform. In fact, the theme certainly for us and with Amazon is going to be one where AMC insights, AMC actions will get more and more tightly integrated into both DSP and search ads. We may be having less and less conversation using the word AMC because it's so tightly integrated. Here's another example where by path, you can now see kind of new to brand metrics within our platform. Again, it's one of the views that's tightly integrated into our platform. Here's another one, which is kind of by ASIN. But there's a number of other options. Also, if anyone is interested in a demo of our platform, Vaibhav, can you please share that and make sure you're targeting everybody in the chat? Please share that link if you're interested in scheduling a demo. Just follow that link. Vaibhav has just shared that in the chat. And if you're all wondering, like, where are we headed? There's a lot that we are working on, but I think, as I had said earlier, we are going to very tightly integrate all of the Amazon capabilities and insights into our search ads and DSP platform. For example, very soon you will be able to select a bunch of keywords and say create audience of everyone that searched that keyword but never clicked on an ad, and that audience is now available for targeting on sponsored display and boosting on sponsored product, sponsored brand. But I'll leave you with, we are on a path where we are going to much more tightly integrate AMC into our both sponsored ads and DSP solutions. Just very quickly, if you're wondering, hey, what in the world does Intentwise do? We are a software platform and we have three distinct solutions. One is the search ad optimization platform. So search and DSP, where AI and rules-based bidding, deep diagnostics, automation, all of that designed to really help you accelerate your ad optimization. So that's the ad optimization platform. We have Intentwise Analytics Cloud, which is, think of it as your comprehensive and a reliable Amazon and e-commerce data store and data pipeline. So we collect all data, put it in a data store, pipe it into your systems. We have very rich visualizations. All this is designed to accelerate your ability to take ownership of data, keep it clean, do a ton of analytics, and clear your blind spots, because all of that today is very painful for most brands and agencies. And last but not least, and this is what I was talking about earlier, which is Intentwise Explore. This is designed to sit on top of your AMC instance, allow you to run a lot of queries, allow you to create audiences, which then flows into the ad optimizer where you can take a lot of actions. But these three products make up our solution suite. As some of our clients call them, these are like three legs of a stool called optimizing your Amazon channel. My email is here, srinath@intentwise.com. I'm pretty active on social as well. We are constantly putting out useful information around Amazon Marketing Cloud and many other things Amazon related. So certainly follow me. But if you have any questions that will not have a chance to address, you can shoot me an email at srinath@intentwise.com. Or again, if you want to schedule time with us for a demo, or you want to get an instance created, Vaibhav, go ahead and share the two links again, just because there's a long thread of chat here that's gotten buried. But go ahead and share those two links again, please, for me. Follow those links and reach out to us. Do we need to be an Intentwise client to request an AMC instance? I mean, you don't, the thing is, like, once requested, getting access and the capabilities on top of it would be through Intentwise. So without that, like, it's, I think it makes sense if you're able to leverage some of our capabilities and tie it back into ads, but you don't have to be an Intentwise client to request an AMC instance. There's some more questions, lots of questions today, which is great. How will bid boosting work on a keyword level in sponsored ads? It'll work exactly the same way as how placement modifiers work, okay? Which is everything happens the way it does, but if the shopper, the person searching, belongs to that audience, then the multiplier kicks in. So I hope that helps you answer the question. Brand tailored promotions and target audiences those are disconnected. Brand tailored promotions and audiences with AMC are not connected, although there is probably a way to isolate for people who may be acting on those promotions through the AMC data. I need to think through this, but those are just two separate things, right? They're not connected. Yes, we will share the recording. There's a question, will we share the recording? Yes, we will share the recording out. How do you leverage AMC for identifying missed conversion opportunities? Again, the audience example I gave you was a great one, in my opinion. When you have 97, 98% of people who are searching the most high performing keyword you have in your account and they have not interacted with your ad, I think chasing them down is not a bad idea. I think the one thing I'd recommend is just get comfortable with understanding what data sets are really available in AMC. That'll open up your mind to kind of understanding what is possible. In fact, Amazon's course on Amazon Marketing Cloud is pretty awesome. You may take a few tries in getting certified, but just search Amazon Learning Console AMC and try to get certified. Through that process, you're going to learn a ton. Also, we're going to be doing a sequence of webinars in very specific topics and going deep into very specific areas. Just keep following us. And our goal is to kind of share what we learn. If I have an AMC instance in another platform and I want to move to Intentwise, do I lose all my data, audience targets? So it's a you don't have to. There's a couple of ways to think about it. AMC instances can be moved. Also, what is happening these days is that even if you create from scratch, it's getting backfilled historically with historic data for quite a distance. So you're not losing data. And as far as audiences are concerned, I mean, those are quick to construct. So there is ways around, fairly easy ways around kind of moving AMC instances from one to another. So I wouldn't worry about that. Can we create lookalike audiences on sponsored ads? That's a good question. I do not know the answer yet. I'm going to Slack my Intentwise team to see if they can get me an answer. If not, I'll get back to you separately. Okay, tactical setup. Okay, question is from Erica. Do the sponsored accounts have to be connected to DSP and have a DSP then to know, or they connected straight to Intentwise? There's no reason for any DSP connection to happen, right? So the sponsored ads entities, the way they are, all you have to do is send the actual sponsored ads entity ID to Intentwise, and we'll request instance creation. By the way, believe it or not, instance creation was manual for quite some time. We now have an API to automate it, and my team is quickly going through that and working out the kinks. So, short answer: you don't need a DSP entity to get a AMC instance. Your sponsored ads entity is good enough. Erica, does that answer your question? Can we calculate CPA for DSP using AMC? Honestly, I mean, yes, you can. If you have DSP entity connected to that AMC instance, you absolutely can. But just keep in mind that AMC has rolling 12 and a half months of data. So that's one constraint to keep in mind, just FYI. If I am an agency, do I need to have one instance per client? None of us will have control over that. By design, there has to be one instance per client. Actually, some clients can have multiple instances. Remember that, you cannot combine instances, right? It's ultimately, even though it may not seem that way, that instance is owned by the client, like it's their data. So it is a separate instance per client. Now, some clients, like I said, could have multiple instances. Certainly, when they have multiple geographies, you could have multiple instances, but it is a separate instance per client if you're an agency. That's the right way to think about it. Thank you so much. Feel free to schedule a demo with us. We can walk you through our capabilities. Just FYI, not only are we a technology platform, we also have a services layer where we can construct and build custom queries based on your needs. We have realized that AMC is one of those things where we can't just give you a technology tool and that's it. There's a lot of back and forth that might be required because questions can get nuanced, but we are designed to support that. Just FYI. We're also going to be doing a series of webinars on different aspects of AMC. So stay tuned, and we'll keep you posted. And then, yeah, I'd say thank you for joining. We will share out the recording once it's ready. And yeah, follow me on LinkedIn. You have my email, srinath@intentwise.com. But thank you all. Take care. Bye.